Hi, my name is Caitlin Blakeney, and I'll be doing a speech about Monsanto for Speech 101, Samuel Sloan, Spring Semester 2013 at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale.
Usually when one is placing their trust in a company, they are looking for positive attributes that
will make them feel secure, such as honesty, integrity, compassion, and so forth. As so, in the case of Monsanto, they no less try to promote the same ethics. Their pledge states, "We operate under a genuine value system." Our pledge that demonstrates integrity, respect, ethical behavior, perspective, and honesty as our foundation for anything that we do. This is the same company that states that they are producing more, conserving more, and improving more lives. The United States Department of Agriculture regulates that organic food now be labeled as part of a reconstruction to promoting more healthy and sustainable lives. Reviewing the USDA's website for agricultural marketing service, they define organic as a term that indicates that the food or agricultural product has been produced through approved methods that integrate cultural, biological, and mechanical practices that fosters cycling of resources, promotes ecological balance, and conserves biodiversity, according to the USDA.gov website. With Monsanto being the #1 supplier and controller within the food systems, they also control the U.S. soy market. Soy product is used in a variety of foods, such as salad dressings, soups, imitational meats, cheeses, desserts, and so many more. It is also used for the emulsification and texturizing, meaning to say that emulsion is defined as a liquid preparation consisting of two completely immiscible liquids, one of which, as minute gobbles coated by gum, is dispersed throughout the other, according to dictionary.com. It was suggested and advised in a 2001 literature review that any woman with current or past breast cancer should be aware of potential tumor growth with the consumption of soy labeling present. Since according to bestmeal.info, this can scientifically be attributed to the effects that soy emits with phytoestrogens, which promotes breast cancer cell growth in animals. Even according to the American Academy of Environmental Medicine, in order to help treat their patients, they urge all doctors to prescribe a non-GMO diet to all patients. This is due to scientific studies that prove that animal studies with GMOs present in their immune systems show organ damage, gastrointestinal and immune system disorders, accelerated aging, and even infertility. Records indicate that after GMOs were introduced in 1996, numerous health problems increased, citing that the percentage of Americans with 3 or more chronic illnesses jumped from 7% to 13% in just 9 years, with food allergies accelerating and other disorders such as autism, reproductive disorders, digestive problems, and others on a continued rise. Even with all of these documented negative side effects that are primarily suggested solely through the consumption of GMO'd products, Vice President Dan Quayle announced that FDA's anti-consumer right-to-know policy stated that GMO foods did not need to be labeled nor safety tested in May of 1992. Ironically, approximately 80% of all processed foods in the U.S. now contain GMO ingredients, but are not required to be labeled as so. Based on the research available of the devastating side effects that it potentially could cause, the European Union, Japan, China, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and so many more now require mandatory GMO labeling, according to bestmeal.info. Even just recently, President Obama signed H.R. 933 in March of 2013 that allows Monsanto to override United States federal courts on the issue of planting experimental genetically engineered crops across the U.S. and are now allowed legally to distribute their seeds to consumers without any consequences, although it is obvious that detrimental health issues are impending. Regarding all the controversies that Monsanto carries and liability of concealing information pertinent to the consumers, there are still others who are trying to get the word out in other ways, such as filmmaker Robert Kenner. In 2009, Kenner made a film entitled Food Inc., which exposes the highly mechanized underbelly that has been hidden from the American consumer with the consent of government regulatory agencies, USDA and FDA.
The way we eat has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 10,000. The modern supermarket has on average 47,000 products.
The industry doesn't want you to know the truth about what you're eating, because if you knew, you might not want to eat it.
We've never had food companies this powerful in our history.
Everything we've done in modern agriculture is to grow it faster, fatter, bigger, cheaper.
If you could grow a chicken in 49 days, why would you want one you got to grow in 3 months?
When you go through the supermarket, there is an illusion of diversity. So much of our industrial food turns out to be rearrangements of corn.
Sometimes you look at a vegetable and say, okay, well, we can get 2 hamburgers for the same price.
They have managed to make it against the law to criticize their products.
There is an effort to make it illegal to publish a photo of any industrial food operation.
I find it incredible that the FDA wants to allow the sale of meat from cloned animals without any labeling.
Peanut butter contaminated with salmonella.
E. coli has been found in spinach, apple juice.
Smells like money to me.
The average consumer does not feel very powerful. It's the exact opposite. When we run an item past the supermarket scanner, we're voting for local or not, organic or not.
Look at the tobacco industry.
The battle against tobacco is a perfect model of how an industry's irresponsible behavior can be changed.
Imagine what it would be if, as a national policy, the idea would be to have such nutritionally dense food that people actually felt better, had more energy, and weren't sick as much. You know, now see, that's a noble goal.
People have got to start demanding good, wholesome food of us, and we'll deliver, I promise you.
Considering all of the adverse side effects that could potentially negatively impact your health and overall living style, it is important to reconsider alternatives, even if it just means reducing the amounts of GMO that are exposed to and prolonging life longevity through other natural elements. One of the best ways to combat this phenomenon is by both cultivating your own personal garden, as well as supporting local organic business owners. Not only will you be supporting your own neighbors and community, but you'll also be stabilizing the revenue within your community, which would allow for it to flourish. There are easy ways in which you can change the food system. First off, by finding and buying organic foods locally, not only are you supporting your community, but also your health as well. There's even an app that is available at eatwellguide.org, which allows for you to type in your zip code and find out what's in season near you. Secondly, become aware of the potential biohazards that are common when factory farming is in practice. It is estimated that approximately 10 billion animals raised and killed in the U.S. annually suffer inhumane conditions while at these industrial farms, not to mention the workers and surrounding communities that are also affected by the unsafe conditions. Also, do not buy step knowledge on pesticides. Different types of cancers, autism, and neurological disorders have all been associated with the use of pesticides. By visiting whatsonmyfood.org, you can learn more about which pesticides are potentially in your food and also their effects. Lastly, in the day and age of environmental concerns, be conscious of the environmental impact that this also has. The average food product travels about 1,500 miles to get to your nearest grocery store and also accounts for 30,800 tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year. Besides trying to portray the image of being wholesome to its consumers, Monsanto is in fact a corporation that does more harm than good. To combat these potential hazards in your own day-to-day lifestyle, implement these changes, such as gardening, buying locally from your neighbors and surrounding community, and becoming more knowledgeable than the average dependents from the media to inform you of information pertinent to your own well-being.